horrible lighting. Not too much going on in my day. That being said, let's get at it. I wanted to talk, and I hope this isn't like political because I think it might be, and I try not to get political on here, but I want to talk about Charlie Kirk, and I wanted to talk about the fact that his head was on straight, and he really, went for what he believed in, like a lot. So I believe that he was saved and he went to heaven and all that. But I believe that his legacy, like his beliefs and his things that he dreamed about and pursued and everything in life, well, I don't know if I came up with this, but I saw a video not long ago that said that his legacy lives on in us. And I was like, that is really important to remember because he might be dead. I mean, he is dead, but like, he might be dead, but like, what he pursued, oh my gosh, my ears are cracking. Hold on. What he pursued was, truth. And I believe that we all need to live on like that, like take on his responsibilities that he had, because think about it, like every single thing he stood up for and did, like I know Erica took over CEO of Turning Point USA and different things, which is great. But I think they need help. Like they need us. And one thing I really wanted to talk about in depth today is how one person can make all the difference in the world. And it's a simple story, but it's so true that like one person can make a difference in the world because Jesus did. And I actually have a cross right here I could show you. Doesn't have the crucifix, but Jesus made all the difference in the world. Like because of Jesus, we can go to heaven. Because of Jesus, we're forgiven. Because of Jesus, I could go on and on. He's merciful. He's love, So I just believe that like so many people just believe that they don't make a difference in life. Okay. So to bring up something kind of crazy, this is my holy water bottle and I need more holy water, but that's beside the point. To bring up something kind of dark is to say that suicide exists. Like it's everywhere. And you might not notice because a lot of people hide it. But I want to talk about that a little bit because I feel like suicide should not be going on, especially in America. You know what I mean? Not everyone, but a lot of people have like this, a lot of people have this tendency to, hurt themselves or commit suicide because of this or that. But one thing that I think would help in that situation, other than prayer and talking to God and reaching out, is I do believe that if everyone in this world knew how much they made a difference in this world, if everyone knew that and saw that, then they'd be like, I can't leave because I have this plan from God to accomplish. And I just feel like that's really, really, really profound and really interesting. So I could give a couple stories of how I make a difference in this world. So the other day, let me think how this happened. So I'm coming down the road on the right side, just driving, and there's a car right here that pulls out in front of a truck that's coming down this way. And the truck would have hit him. He would have slammed into him. But I was like praying / like telling him to slow down and everything. And he like just missed him. Thank God. But I was like, that's interesting because if I didn't do that, he would have been killed, like the guy in the car, because this truck was like huge. But there's different things like that. I want to talk about too, but yeah, so like as an entrepreneur, as a person, I believe that every single person makes a difference in this world as much as anyone else. And, we're all equal under God. And that's to say that you make a difference in this world. So I would encourage you today. I'm not going to make it hard. I'm going to make it simple. But I would encourage you to go out into the world, or maybe you're at home, maybe like call someone or something, and just spread the love. Just try to show that you don't really judge, that you love people, despite how they are. I have some like friends that are like not friends, but I will like text them now and then just to see how they are, because I'm trying to lead them back and I'm trying to be charitable. And it takes a lot of like courage to do that, because some people are just mean or nasty or just ignore you, or and you have to take that chance and just just be loved, because that's what Jesus did on the cross. You know what I mean? And then I want to talk about Saint Alessandro. So this is a pretty dark story too, but I was talking to God about this too. I have escaped like rape and different things before. So yeah. So I just like have a heart for people like that, for one thing, but also God got me out of it. So high hearts for Vic. So what I'm saying is, okay, so in I want to say it was the beginning of the 1900s, there was this girl. Actually, this is what she looked like, kind of. But it's this girl. She's a saint now. Her name was Maria Goretti, and she lived in Italy. She had brothers and sisters. Her dad was a farmer. Anyway, so they had a joint house with someone else because they were very poor. And I don't know if I've told this story before, but whatever. But the son of the dad that owned the house with them, his name was Alessandro. And he was just very bad. And he wanted to seduce Maria. She was like 11 or 13. It was not okay. I mean, it's never okay. But he wanted to seduce her. She would not let him. She repeatedly started telling him it was a mortal sin to, have sex before marriage, different things. And she didn't even like this guy, really. So she kept telling him no. And then he tried to rape her. And she was like, no, Alessandro, it's a sin, a mortal sin. You'll go to hell. And so he, in his defense, or whatever you call it, started to stab her. And he stabbed her, I think it was 14 times. And after he did that, she ultimately died. Of course, he went to prison for, I want to say it was like 23 years. Oh, shoot. Anyway, so he went to prison, she went to heaven, and he was like not resolved, to the point of like he would get in fights with people. He had to be put in isolation. And eventually he had this vision / miracle, and he was in a cell, and he had this miracle or vision or whatever. And she said she forgave him, and she sent him 14 lilies. And every time, for the 14 times he stabbed her, and every time he touched a lily, it would disappear and turn into like a grace or something. And up until that point, he was not repentant, and he repented. He got out early from jail. Now, this is interesting because it shows God's mercy. Like, this kid, not to say that like anything he did was okay, but he was brought up in like a horrible home. His mom, I want to say she died in a psych ward. And his sister was like, she tried to drown him in a tub full of water when he was a baby, and that didn't work. She died in asylum or whatever. But anyway, so my point is, I think it's from this Lady Gaga song, because she has this song called Alejandro, and I do not recommend it. It is so disgusting. But I was really sick when I watched it, and I just kind of learned from that video in the good way that Alessandro could be a saint because he repented. So after he got out of jail, after he reformed his life. He repented. He went to confession. He, was very upset for what he did and very sorry. He, found Assunta, who is St. Maria Goretti's mom, and begged for her forgiveness. And she said, if Maria can forgive you, I can too. And in my opinion, he went to the monastery and everything, but in my opinion, he became a saint. And there's a book out called I Killed Maria Goretti. And if there's one thing I want right now, it's that book. It just sounds that sounds weird, but it sounds so interesting. It's just about him living out his life. Truly sorry. And I also believe that he helped me in like various ways. I think he sorry, I kind of need some water. I think he helped me like with that guy. So with the guy that was going to rape me, I'm trying to figure out how to make this go up higher, but so there are a few times I've been like kidnapped, different things. I'm not going to name them all. They are very PTSD for me. But one of the times that could have happened was I was walking the road and walking at night. I was out of my mind, but I knew what was going on. And this guy like pulls over and is like, looks sincere. But now that I look back at it, he was not sincere. But anyway, he's like, hey, I'm going back to Pittsburgh. Do you want to ride? And I'm like, yeah. So I get in this guy's truck. So many bad things could have happened that didn't. And I thank God for that. But like, I get in his truck. I shut the door. We start driving. I'm not joking. And we're driving. This guy's probably like 50, 60. And he's like halfway through the ride or whatever it's called. He's like, I am not feeling that good. And I was like dozing off. I swear to God, I was dozing off. And he's like, I might have to stay at a hotel. I might have to sleep. Like, we might have to stop at a hotel. And I was like half asleep. I kid you not, half out of my mind. And I'm like, well, okay, or something. And he just like kind of slows down or something and is like, but I only have money for one bed. And I was like terrified. So what I did was I was like, I'm jumping out of this car. So it's interesting because he pulled over into this like gravel parking lot. And I think he pulled over because he wanted to entice me to change or something. I'm not really sure. I opened the door, like this big door to his truck, and he starts driving again. And I just like jumped out while he was moving. And I landed on the ground. I landed on my knees, which I thought was kind of cool because it's like you're praying to God. And I got up and I was exhausted. Guys, I wasn't eating or drinking or anything. Off meds, whatever. I got up and I started running away. And I wasn't sure if he was going to come after me. I didn't know what to expect. But Alessandro came to my mind and I was like, I got to pray to this guy right now. So I prayed to him and I was like, Alessandro, what do I do? You know what I mean? And he was like, put your hand. Okay, so I had this like blue light coat on and he said, put your hand down like you have a knife. Like, it's kind of hard to describe, but like I just stuck it out like you have a spiritual knife. And I did. I just like, the guy was coming in his truck and I like put my hand down and he like drove away and it was just like, shoo. Which I'm so thankful for. I'm thankful to God for it. I'm thankful to God. But I love God. I love God. It was the scariest thing. And so my thing is like Alessandro, he helps. Like he always helps me when I pray to him. So I just want to put that out there that like, okay, so I forget who the killer of Charlie Kirk was. Kevin or something? Kyle? But I thought it was really interesting how Erica forgave him. That is because if she didn't, she would have this like cave in her chest. Because forgiveness is not about the welfare of the other person. It's actually about the welfare of you. Because if you like take in everything and hold grudges and all this stuff, you're not going to feel good. Like, just forgive them, let that thought free. And that's all it's about. It's about Jesus forgiving you on the cross. Or like forgiving them on the cross. Gosh, I forget what I was gonna talk about. I don't know, but I'm gonna go here pretty soon. I think I'm gonna babysit later. I'm trying to plan out my day on here. What are you guys doing today? Yeah, I really believe he's a saint. There was a time where, I don't know if this is going to make any sense to you guys because I was really sick at the time. And but these policemen they weren't real police. They pulled over and told me that I needed to write down my name on this like piece of paper, this pad thing. And so I did. I wrote Faith, and I called on Alessandro because I was like, I don't know what to do about this. He was like, when you write Pawlowski, because that's my last name, he was like, write a period on the end that like, write it really dense. It's hard to explain this, but that when they look at it, they won't like take you because it's just so intense, the name or whatever. And they didn't, but I don't know. There have been so many times where like Alessandro has saved me. And to be completely honest, he's probably my favorite saint. I like Saint Joan of Arc because she's very heroic and really cool. And I like to lead. So like, she's just totally top notch. But then I like Saint Alessandro because he's the saint of the impossible. And anytime I call on him, it's like I feel instantly fine like that. Like, it's just so cool. So I'm going to go. I have some things to do, but I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this story helped a little bit. And God bless. Bye.